Nigeria, of course, has suffered from the drop in the oil prices. I think things are just now getting better. But the conversation we need to have with Nigeria, I think, is in many ways related to the theme that I brought to the table just this past week, which is investment in human capital. Right? The percentage of GDP that Nigeria spends on healthcare is less than 1%. And despite the fact that there's so much turbulence in the northern part of the country, and that there is the hit that was taken from the drop in the oil prices, Nigeria has to think ahead. And investing in its people, investing in the things that will allow Nigeria to be a thriving, rapidly growing economy in the future is what the country has to focus on right now. It can't rely just on oil prices going back up. It has to think, what are going to be the sources of growth in the future for Nigeria in what will surely be a more digitalized economy?
Next.
And that was the World Bank President Jim Yong Kim at the just concluded World Bank IMF meeting, harping on the need for human capital investment in Nigeria. According to him, growth is rising in most developing and advanced economies, but there is need to build resilience against overlapping challenges. And one of the solutions is increased investment in human capital. Where has Nigeria got it wrong in this area, and how can it get it right? I'm being joined by a human capital development expert, Mike Adeleye. Good morning, Mr. Adeleye. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Right. The World Bank says Nigeria must invest in human capital. First of all, do we need the World Bank to tell us that we should invest in human capital?
I think we've got to the right time whereby if we don't get or put our acts together inwards, then obviously someone elsewhere who could actually see the 3D picture of where we are and going forward, because they are actually an instrument to actually support us in this area of growth. So if we're not going through or doing the needful, then obviously someone's going to have to tell us that we need to do it. So that is what is going on at the moment. And I'm quite delighted and glad that it came out, because in the last 5-6 years, that's been my advocacy back and forth on how to really invest in human capital.
So where do you think Nigeria is in this regard?
Quite a lot of factors. We should be talking about the health system, which I believe we have enough time to be able to expatiate on all this. We should be talking about the health system in the country. We should be talking about the education. We should be talking about skill acquisition. We should be talking about protecting the labor force and so many other factors. Now, if we could start from the health area, and there's always a saying that goes, a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. Yeah. We all know what's going on in our health sector, right from the primary health care to the top. Our local healthcare censor, the national healthcare censor, and look at the revelation that just came out from the wife of the president of recent. I mean, the State House, which has to be, we are supposed to be a first-class medical center, taking care of the first citizen in that dilapidating state. I mean, it's questionable. Now, if that could happen at the top, you could imagine what's going to happen in the other sectors or the other areas of the economy. And if we don't fix it right, I mean, then there's going to be a problem. And look at the president of recent that just went, well, to save his life, he's got to go out. It shouldn't be a situation whereby a country that we call ourselves the brothers of Africa, the giant of Africa. And
if you don't have money to treat yourself outside, then...
That's the thing. So we're bearing the bonds and all the crumbles of all this on all Nigerians. And it's a huge embarrassment for us that we couldn't actually fix our health system. I mean, over 50 years old, and we still have to go out there to go and treat ourselves. Then it's questionable. We need to look at that. For us to have a stable and a healthy economy, first and foremost, our health system to be fixed. Okay? Now, going away from there, if we look into the educational system, that is the most important area. Now, if we need to invest in human capital, it starts from the elementary sector in our educational system. Now, what we are now fond of in this country, I mean, and that's the honest truth, everybody and everyone wants to go into university just to attain that certificate, that I'm a graduate. Now, our curriculum in this country is not been structured, okay? We don't, what we're supposed to be doing to invest in human capital is to actually look at the needs of the economy and actually promote the courses that actually will actually support the needs of the economy. But we're not doing that. So we're studying courses. I don't want to be mentioning courses here now, but we're studying a lot of courses that have no relevance to the economy or to build the economy. So our education system, the curriculum has to be looked at right from nursery, primary, secondary, and the tertiary institution. And also, in a situation whereby you have public institution surpassing, private institutions surpassing public institutions, then there is a problem. That means the government is failing woefully. And all this mushroom education system we have, universities everywhere, who is responsible for monitoring, okay, the quality of education? I'm in this sector for over 22 years, and in this country, I weep sometimes. Somebody comes to you for a job, and you ask yourself the question, did this person went through the four corners of university? They can't even speak correctly. They can't write an essay. They can't even answer the question. They can't even do anything. Now, who monitors the quality of all these people, of all these educational bodies, or institutions that actually promote and graduate tens of thousands of these people everywhere? And that has been a big question I've been asking people. Now, to now pass insult upon injury, the government are now fond of using youth corpus to go teach. Now, I haven't had that before anywhere in the world. It's only in this climate that happens. The graduates themselves are half-baked. They don't have the know-how. They don't have the experience. Some of them failed woefully. Now, when you pack all these people to go to a primary school or secondary to go teach, what sort of quality of education or knowledge do you want them to pass on to these growing up people in our educational system? So we are actually, it's a time bomb ticking to be, that's going to explode soon.
Well, perhaps that's the reason the private sectors have seem to have taken up education in Nigeria.
Yeah, they do, but the quality of the education they are actually giving out to pupils out there, who monitors them, who regulates them, right? Anybody could just set up a university if you have the money and have a registered, have a certificate, okay, to set up a university. But the quality of what comes out in there, who regulates it to make sure that that's what we need the economy?